Hello and welcome to this walkthrough where I am going to present you the very basic steps you need to take in order to apply to an Epso competition. If this is your first time you're applying, I'm sure this guide will come in handy. If you have already taken part in Epso competitions, watching this video could give you a new perspective for future use as we're sharing with you key tips for successfully filling your application. When visiting Epso's homepage, you'll notice in the upper right part the option to log in or create an account. I'll just click on it, and on the next page, click on Create Your Epso Account. I advise you to create an Epso account even before starting with your application, and actually create one and only one account, since creating multiple accounts will get you disqualified from the competition. You'll be presented with a statement on data protection, a description of what personal data is used, and how Epso uses your data in the context of an Epso competition. After having read the whole page, you'll just have to click on the big blue button at the bottom of the page, which confirms you are aware of the whole personal data processing and you agree with it. On the next page, you will need to fill a lot of personal information. First, you must choose a login and a password for your Epso account, and then fill in your name, date of birth, citizenship, mother language, and other details. You'll notice that all mandatory fields are marked with a star. Once you have filled all the relevant information, you need to submit it and then confirm your email address. You will receive an email from Epso with an activation link. Once clicked, your account is active and you can already log in. You will be able to complete and submit your application in English, French, or German. Now it's time to actually apply to a competition. For this, you'll need to click on the Current Job Opportunities link, which you find in the center of the main page. You'll have to look and see if there are any open competitions listed in the Open Competitions Permanent Posts column. In this current example, there are quite a lot of competitions for which you can apply, but if when you visit this page there is no competition listed, make sure to click on the Indicative Planning Table link, which gives you an overview of the upcoming competitions organized by Epso. Once you have started your application, you will notice several tabs: Info, Registration Data, My Profile, Motivation and Strengths, Eligibility, Overview and Declaration. Moreover, My Profile tab is split in 3 parts: Education and Training, Professional Experience, and Language Skills. In this video, there is a tab missing, Talent Screener, which you will only have to complete if you're applying for a specialist's competition. Let's go now through all the fields that you would need to fill. In the Education and Training part, you should start with the most recent education for which you have a certificate. More important is to make sure that you mention the education or qualification that makes you eligible to take part in this competition. Epso states that courses for which you don't have a certificate, but you might consider relevant to the competition, should be mentioned in the Motivation and Strengths part of the application, so don't forget to add them there. The Professional Experience part should be the easiest to complete because it's the actual info you would find in a resume, and you should have it already. Same logic applies here. Start with your most recent job and then list all the positions relevant to your application. In case you are applying for an AD5 competition, you would not necessarily need to complete any professional experience since it is not mandatory, but I strongly recommend you do so. Please pay attention to the fact that the Nature of Duties field is limited to 1,500 characters, so instead of writing your experience like a novel, try to use concise bullet points. The total job duration will automatically be calculated based on the periods you will enter for each job. Your experience must be backed by official proof, so at a later phase of the competition, be prepared to have them sent to Epso for justification. On the Language Skills tab, from My Profile, you will need to complete the languages you are familiar with. I suggest starting first with your mother tongue, and then continuing with the foreign languages you might know. You will have to complete 4 fields: ability to speak, read, listen, and write, with a self-assessment of the knowledge of each language. The values are described in detail in the European Framework on Language, so if you are not sure what they mean, just Google the framework. You should definitely not neglect the Motivation and Strengths tab, as it is one of the most important parts of your Epso application. Its role is to give you the chance to stand out from the crowd. In a few phrases, you must convince the members of the selection board that you are suitable for the position, that your experience matches the competition requirements, and that you are the ideal candidate to work for the European institutions. Your answers will definitely be read by the selection board, and the info you have provided here might be useful in the following phases of the competition. This part of the application covers experience and background. interest to apply, contribution to the European Union, and strengths. At first, it might be confusing, so take a few minutes to think it through and come up with an optimum answer. Writing a couple of phrases about how your experience and background matches the advertised tasks from the competition should not pose you a problem. Identify the most relevant activities from your current or previous jobs that best match the Epso competition profile and describe them as precisely as possible. Next, you should state your interest to apply. Why does this specific position attract you? What is your motivation to apply? It goes without saying that you must express your honest opinion on why this position is attractive to you. It could be that this is your dream career, or you like to be in a position where your work can impact millions of citizens, or you're just attracted by the amazing weather in Brussels. Let's hope that you will not choose the final option. Next step is to state your opinion on how you could contribute to the work of the European institutions and its agencies, and what your key strengths that would bring added value to the position you are applying would be. You should start by picturing yourself already in the position you are applying for. Try to imagine what projects this particular position would be involved in, and what it would take to be successful in your assignment. In the last part of the Motivation and Strengths page, you are asked to outline 2 of your main achievements and their outcome. This should be straightforward. Look through your work or education experience and detail 2 situations where you were successful, what it took to reach the positive result, and what the impact was for you and for others. After answering all these questions, you must feel relieved. Good job! You might want to save your answers in a Word document so that they are available in case you decide to apply to another competition in the future. In the next part of the application, which is the Eligibility tab, you will have to tick a big yes to all the general admission conditions as well as the specific admission conditions. So you've made it to the end of your application, which is the Overview and Declaration tab. Once you're on this page, you can actually see if there is a part of the application that you forgot to fill, as the missing parts of the application are highlighted. You will not be able to complete your application if there are missing mandatory fields. Take a good moment to carefully reread your whole application, because once you've submitted it, there's no way to edit it afterwards. Once you submit the application, you will receive a candidate number. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your Epso exams.